Selena Gomez reached her absolute breaking point on The Late Show last night. What started as a music discussion turned into an interrogation about her past relationship with Justin Bieber. Despite Selena's clear discomfort, Stephen Colbert kept pushing. "Fans want to know," he insisted. And then Selena shattered, tears falling, voice breaking. She screamed, "Don't say his name," before walking away. Make sure you're subscribed because this moment is sparking crucial conversations about trauma and boundaries. First of all, don't forget to like and subscribe to our video, and don't forget to write to us where you watch this video. The Late Show theme music faded as Stephen Colbert welcomed Selena Gomez with his signature smile. She walked out looking radiant in an emerald green dress, her dark hair styled in soft waves. The audience erupted in genuine warm applause. "Selena Gomez, welcome back to The Late Show," Colbert said enthusiastically. "Thank you so much for having me, Stephen," Selena replied, settling into the guest chair with a bright, confident smile. "It's been a while since we've seen you," Colbert began. "You took some time away from the spotlight. How does it feel to be back?" "It feels amazing," Selena said. "I needed that time to focus on myself, my health, and really figure out who I am outside of all the noise, you know? And now I'm in such a better place and I'm so excited about this new music." "Speaking of the new music," Colbert said, leaning forward, "the album is called Reflections." "Very personal title. Tell us about it." Selena's eyes lit up. "Yes, it's definitely my most personal work yet. It's about growth, healing, and learning to love yourself through all the messy parts. I wrote most of these songs during therapy, actually, which was really cathartic." "Therapy as a writing session?" Colbert smiled. "That's efficient." The audience laughed. Selena smiled politely, but shifted slightly in her seat. "Well, it wasn't quite like that," she said carefully. "It was more like the emotions I processed in therapy inspired the songs later." Right, Colbert nodded. "So these songs, are they about anyone in particular?" Selena's smile flickered. "They're about my journey, about me." "But surely," Colbert pressed, "with songs about past relationships and heartbreak, there must be some inspiration from your dating history." "All artists draw from their experiences," Selena said, her voice measured. "But I really want the focus to be on the message of the songs, not speculation about who they're about." Of course," Colbert said. "But you have to understand, people are curious. Especially about, he paused meaningfully, past relationships that were very public." Selena's posture stiffened. "Stephen, I came here to talk about my music and my message about mental health." "Absolutely," Colbert agreed. "But mental health and relationships are connected, right? And you had a very public on and off relationship with—" "I'd prefer not to discuss that," Selena interrupted firmly. "With Justin Bieber," Colbert finished anyway. The audience made a collective "ooh" sound. Selena's jaw tightened. "Stephen," she said slowly, "we're not doing this." "I'm not trying to make you uncomfortable," Colbert said. "I'm just acknowledging what everyone's thinking. The album has songs about past love, regret, healing from toxic patterns. Fans are naturally going to wonder if these songs are about him." "Let them wonder," Selena said. "I'm not going to feed that narrative." "But isn't it a bit unfair?" Colbert leaned back. "You put very personal lyrics out into the world. You sing about specific moments, specific feelings, and then you're upset when people try to connect the dots? There's a difference between fans speculating and a journalist directly asking me to confirm it," Selena said, her voice tight. "I've been very open about my mental health struggles, about my anxiety, my depression, my time in treatment. I share a lot. But I don't have to share everything." "No one's saying you have to share everything," Colbert said, "but you're promoting an album. This is part of the process, answering questions about the inspiration behind the work." "The inspiration is my life," Selena said. "My healing journey. That's what I'm here to discuss." "Okay, let's discuss your healing journey," Colbert said. "You've been very open about going to therapy, taking time away from social media, focusing on mental health. That's admirable. But part of your healing journey involved that relationship, didn't it? The on-again, off-again nature of it. The public breakups, the social media back and forth." Selena's hands gripped the armrests. "Yes, that was part of my past, and I've healed from it. which is why I don't want to keep reliving it in interviews. But you reference it in your music, Colbert countered. Track 3 is literally called Cycle. The lyrics talk about going back to someone who wasn't good for you over and over. That's pretty specific. It's about patterns. Selena said, her voice rising slightly, about recognizing toxic cycles in your life. It doesn't have to be about one person. Come on, Selena, Colbert smiled. We both know that song is about... Don't, Selena cut him off sharply. Don't say it. The studio went quiet. Colbert looked taken aback by her tone. I'm just asking questions, he said. You're pushing boundaries I've clearly set, Selena replied. I've said multiple times I don't want to discuss specific people from my past. Why do you keep pushing? Because fans deserve answers, Colbert said. You put yourself out there as a public figure. You share your struggles, your music, your story. People feel connected to you. They want to understand the full picture. The full picture is that I'm a human being with a right to privacy, Selena said, her voice shaking slightly. Just because I share some things doesn't mean I owe everyone everything. But you're being deliberately vague, Colbert pressed. You want people to stream your album, buy your music, but you don't want to give them the context for the songs. The context is in the lyrics, Selena's voice rose. I put everything into those words. If people want to know how I felt, what I went through, it's all there. But I'm not going to sit here and turn my trauma into tabloid fodder for ratings. That's not what this is, Colbert said defensively. Then what is it? Selena challenged. Because it feels like you invited me here to discuss my new album, my mental health advocacy, my growth as an artist. And instead, you keep steering the conversation back to him. I'm not steering anything, Colbert said. I'm following the natural thread of conversation about your deeply personal album. By violating boundaries I've set repeatedly, Selena said. I've asked you not to go there, multiple times, and you keep going there anyway. Selena, with all due respect, Colbert said, you can't have it both ways. You can't write songs that are clearly about specific people and experiences. Put them out for millions of people to hear, and then act shocked when someone asks about those people and experiences. I'm not shocked, Selena said. I'm disappointed. I thought this interview would be different. I thought we could have a conversation about mental health, about healing, about the message I'm trying to send to young people who are struggling. Instead, you want gossip. It's not gossip to discuss the inspiration behind art, Colbert argued. It is when the artist has explicitly asked you not to, Selena shot back. But why? Colbert spread his hands. If you've healed, if you've moved on, why is it such a sensitive topic? Because healing doesn't mean the pain goes away completely. Selena's voice cracked. It means you learn to live with it. It means you build boundaries to protect your peace. And people like you keep trying to tear those boundaries down for entertainment. I think you're being overly sensitive. Don't you dare tell me I'm being overly sensitive about my own trauma, Selena interrupted, her eyes beginning to glisten with tears. The audience shifted uncomfortably. Several people looked down at their phones. I have bipolar disorder, Selena continued, her voice thick with emotion. I've been hospitalized. I've had a kidney transplant. I've struggled with anxiety and depression for years. I've worked so hard to get to a place where I can function, where I can create, where I can be healthy. And part of that work is setting boundaries about what I will and won't discuss. Why is that so hard to respect? I'm not trying to disrespect your boundaries, Colbert started. Yes, you are. Selena's voice broke. Tears began streaming down her face. I told you I didn't want to talk about it. I've told you multiple times. And you keep pushing and pushing, acting like my pain is just content for your show. That's not fair, Colbert said. I'm trying to have an honest conversation. An honest conversation respects both people's boundaries, Selena said through tears. You don't get to decide what I'm comfortable discussing just because you have a microphone and an audience. But you knew coming on a talk show means answering difficult questions, Colbert said. Difficult questions aren't the same as boundary violations. Selena wiped her eyes, mascara beginning to smudge. I can handle difficult questions. I've answered plenty of them. But when I explicitly say I don't want to discuss this specific person, And you keep bringing it up anyway? That's not a difficult question. That's cruelty. I think you're being dramatic. Dramatic? Selena's voice rose sharply. I'm crying on national television because you won't stop bringing up someone who represents some of the most painful periods of my life. And you think I'm being dramatic? The studio was dead silent now. Colbert looked uncomfortable, clearly not expecting this level of emotional response. Selena, maybe we should take a breath. I don't need to take a breath, Selena said, her voice shaking. I need you to listen. For once in this entire conversation, actually listen to what I'm saying. Selena stood up suddenly. The audience gasped. She steadied herself against the chair, tears still falling. Do you know what it's like, she began, her voice raw, to have every relationship, every heartbreak, every private moment dissected by millions of people? To have your pain turned into memes and headlines and gossip? To watch people make fun of the worst moments of your life? Colbert opened his mouth, but Selena kept going. I was a teenager when that relationship started. A teenager. I didn't know how to protect myself. I didn't know how to set boundaries. I let cameras document everything because I thought that's what I was supposed to do as a public figure. And it destroyed me. It contributed to mental health crises that nearly killed me. Literally, nearly killed me. Her voice broke completely. She wiped her eyes with shaking hands. And I've spent years in therapy, learning how to heal from that. Learning that my value isn't determined by public opinion. Learning that I can say no. That I can protect my peace. That I don't owe anyone access to my pain. Selena, Colbert tried. No, she said firmly. You don't get to interrupt me again. You've interrupted me this whole interview, talking over my boundaries, dismissing my feelings. Now you're going to listen. The audience was completely silent. You could hear people breathing. I came here tonight excited to talk about my music, Selena continued. Music that I'm proud of. Music that represents my growth and healing. Music that I hope helps other people who are struggling. And you've turned it into trauma porn. You've reduced my entire album to Is This About Your Ex? Like that's the only thing worth discussing about me. Like my healing, my growth, my message, none of that matters as much as confirming gossip. That's not what I intended, Colbert said. Your intention doesn't matter when the impact is this. Selena gestured at her tear-streaked face. Good intentions don't erase harm. And the worst part, Selena's voice dropped to something quieter but more intense, is that you genuinely don't seem to understand why this is wrong. You think you're just doing your job, just asking questions, just giving fans what they want. But what fans want isn't always what's ethical. What gets ratings isn't always what's right. I disagree with your characterization, Colbert began. Of course you do, Selena laughed bitterly, because admitting you crossed a line would mean acknowledging that maybe, just maybe, entertainment doesn't justify everything. That maybe there are some stories that aren't yours to extract from people. She reached for her microphone, hands trembling. You want to know about the album? Selena said. You want to know what it's really about? It's about learning that not everyone deserves access to your story. It's about understanding that healing means protecting what you've built. It's about recognizing when people see you as content rather than a human being. She started unhooking the microphone. Selena, please don't leave, Colbert said, standing up. We can talk about this. Talk about what? Selena asked, tears still flowing. How you spent the last 15 minutes proving exactly why I set these boundaries in the first place? How you've demonstrated that no matter how many times someone says no, you'll keep pushing because you think your audience's curiosity matters more than someone's mental health? That's not fair, Colbert repeated. You want to talk about fair? Selena's voice rose again. Is it fair that I can't promote my work without being ambushed about my past? Is it fair that my panic attacks and hospitalizations are seen as acceptable topics for late-night television? Is it fair that saying I don't want to discuss this is treated as me being difficult instead of me setting healthy boundaries? I just think if you'd simply confirm or deny, Colbert started. Don't say his name! Selena screamed suddenly, the words ripping from her throat. The audience jumped. Several people gasped audibly. Colbert took a step back, clearly startled. "Don't you dare," Selena continued, voice breaking completely. "Don't you dare say his name. I've asked you repeatedly, clearly, directly, not to discuss him. I have set that boundary over and over, and you won't respect it. You won't respect me." She finished removing her microphone and set it carefully on the chair. "Do you know how much courage it took for me to come here?" Selena asked, quieter now but no less intense. "To put myself in a situation where I knew people would ask invasive questions? I did it because I believed in my message. I believed this album could help people. I believe maybe, just maybe, we could have a conversation about mental health that didn't revolve around my dating history." Tears streamed down her face, makeup completely ruined now. "But you couldn't help yourself," Selena continued. "You had to push. You had to try to get that viral moment, that headline, that clip that would trend on Twitter. And now you have it. Congratulations. Selena Gomez crying on The Late Show. Selena Gomez having a breakdown on national television. That'll get great ratings." "I never wanted," Colbert began. "It doesn't matter what you wanted," Selena cut him off. "It matters what you did. You violated my boundaries repeatedly. You dismissed my discomfort. You prioritized entertainment over my well-being. You treated my trauma like trivia. And then you acted confused when I got upset about it." She turned to the audience. "To anyone watching who's struggling with mental health," Selena said, her voice thick with emotion, "please hear this. You don't owe anyone your story. You don't owe anyone details about your trauma. You don't owe anyone explanations for your boundaries. Your healing is yours. Guard it. Protect it. Don't let anyone make you feel guilty for choosing peace over performance." She looked back at Colbert. "I hope someday you understand why what you did tonight was harmful," Selena said. "I hope you think about this moment and realize that just because you can ask something doesn't mean you should. That there's a difference between journalism and cruelty. That respecting someone's no is basic human decency." Selena walked toward the exit, then paused and turned back one last time. "My album is called Reflections," she said. "Maybe after tonight, you should do some reflecting of your own." With that, Selena Gomez walked off the Late Show stage, leaving behind a stunned audience, a queerly uncomfortable host. And one of the most powerful statements about boundaries and mental health in late-night television history. Colbert sat down heavily in his chair, the studio silent except for scattered, uncomfortable coughing from the audience. We'll be right back," he managed. But everyone watching knew some things can't be fixed with a commercial break. So there you have it, how Selena Gomez walked off The Late Show after one of the most emotional confrontations about mental health boundaries in television history. Within hours, hashtags like "I Stand With Selena" and "Respect Boundaries" were trending worldwide. Mental health advocates praised her courage. Some criticized her for being too sensitive. The debate rages on. Do celebrities owe the public details about their private lives? Or do they have the right to heal privately, regardless of their fame? Drop your thoughts in the comments and hit subscribe, because sometimes the most important conversations happen when someone finally says enough.